the watcher in the woods. I moved to the forest to escape people. Turns out I should have been more worried about what wasn't people. My name is David. I'm a software developer. Was a software developer. After my divorce and a breakdown at work, I decided I was done with society, done with traffic, done with noise, done with all of it. I found a cabin 3 hours north of anywhere that mattered, deep in the woods. No neighbors for miles. The nearest town was 40 minutes away. It was perfect. The cabin was basic. One room, with stove, solar panels, a well for water. I could work remotely when I had projects. Otherwise, I had silence. For the first month, it was exactly what I needed. I'd wake up to birdsong, spend my days reading, chopping wood, learning to be alone with my thoughts. The woods felt peaceful, safe even. That changed in October. I started noticing things missing, small things. A hatchet I'd left on the porch, a bucket, some rope. I figured animals were dragging stuff away. Maybe I was forgetting where I put things. Living alone does that to you. Then I found the Cairn. I was hiking about half a mile from my cabin. There's a small clearing I'd go to sometimes, just to sit, watch the sunset through the trees. In the center of the clearing was a pile of stones, stacked carefully, deliberately, about 3 feet high. I'd been to that clearing a dozen times. The Cairn was new. Someone had been here, on my property, or near enough. I told myself it was a hiker, someone passing through. Building cairns is a thing people do. It didn't mean anything, but I was 40 minutes from the nearest town. This wasn't a hiking trail. You had to really want to get out here. I kicked the cairn over, scattered the stones, and I left. The next day it was rebuilt. Same spot, same height, same careful stacking. My hands went cold when I saw it. Someone was watching, waiting for me to leave, then coming back. I scattered it again. This time I stayed, hid behind a tree line, watched that clearing for 3 hours. Nothing. No movement. No sound except wind and birds. I went home as the sun started setting. I didn't feel alone anymore. I felt observed. That night, I heard footsteps on my porch. Slow, heavy, deliberate, walking back and forth, back and forth. I grabbed the shotgun I kept by the door. My heart was hammering. I called out, I'm armed. You need to leave. Now. The footsteps stopped. Silence. Complete silence. Even the insects went quiet. I waited 5 minutes. 10. Nothing. I opened the door. Porch was empty. But there, right in front of my door, was another cairn. Smaller. Made from stones that weren't there before. I'm not ashamed to say I locked every window. Pushed furniture against the door. Didn't sleep that night. At dawn, I went into town. Talked to the sheriff. Told him someone was harassing me, coming onto my property. He asked if I'd actually seen anyone. I said no, just evidence. He nodded, didn't seem surprised. Then he asked me something that made my blood run cold. You're out on Old Forest Road, right? The Peterson cabin. I nodded. Huh, he said. You're the 4th person to rent that place in 2 years. Others didn't last long either. Why not? I asked. He shrugged, said they felt watched, found things moved around. Some folks just aren't cut out for isolation. But his eyes said something different. His eyes said he believed them. I went back to the cabin, started packing. I'd had enough. I could find peace somewhere else. That's when I found the photographs. They were tucked under my doormat. Polaroids. Recent. The chemicals still smelled fresh. The first photo was of my cabin, taken from the tree line. I recognized the angle. The second was of me, chopping wood. 3 days ago, I was wearing the same shirt I'd worn Tuesday. The third photo was taken through my window, me sleeping in my bed. The flash had reflected off the glass, but I could see myself clearly. There were 12 photos total, all of me, all taken without my knowledge. The last one was from that morning, me getting in my truck to drive to town. Whoever this was, they'd been watching for weeks, and I'd never seen them, not once. I loaded my truck in 15 minutes. Didn't care what I left behind. I just needed out. As I drove away, I looked in my rearview mirror. Just once, there was a figure standing at the edge of the woods. Tall, thin, completely still. watching my truck disappear down the dirt road. I never went back, not even for my stuff. I paid someone else to pack up the cabin. The sheriff called me a month later, asked if I'd been back to the property. I said no. Why? Someone's living in your cabin, he said. We did a welfare check. Found a man inside. Wouldn't give his name. Said he'd been living in the woods for years. Said it was his cabin now. They removed him. Trespassing. But here's the thing that still keeps me up at night. When they searched the woods around the cabin, they found a shelter. Hidden. Camouflaged. About 200 yards from my back door. Inside were more photographs. Hundreds of them. Not just of me. Of the 3 renters before me. And others. People no one recognized. And a journal filled with observations. Our routines. Our habits. What time we slept. What we ate. Everything. The last entry in that journal was about me. Written the day I left. It said, "Subject for departed. Disappointing. They always leave. But there will be others. There are always others. The woods provide." They never found him again. He disappeared into the forest. The cabin is abandoned now. No one will rent it. But sometimes, hikers report seeing smoke from the chimney. And sometimes they find cairns. Stacked stones in the clearing. Fresh ones. I live in the city now, surrounded by people, noise, traffic, and I've never felt safer. Because the most terrifying thing I learned out there is this. When you go into the wilderness to be alone, you need to make absolutely sure that you actually are.